Hey everybody, this is Santino here, and you're listening to In Your Head Radio.
Welcome to In Your Head Wrestling Radio. I'm the internet icon, the pride of the Pilgrims, handsome Jackie Jones. I'm not sure where the OIB is, but he should be here momentarily. But I'm joined by former Cruiserweight champion, star of the Leprechaun, master of the TLwee, and the bastard son of Vince McMahon, Swoggle, formerly known as Hornswoggle. What's that?
What's the TLwee?
What is it? The TLwee, isn't it?
What is that?
The WeeLC. I'm sorry, WeeLC.
What are you doing, man? You're fucking up my intro.
Oh, well, I'll edit.
The one thing I got is an intro, and you messed it up.
Man, well, I'll edit it together, and I'll look a lot smarter.
No, please don't.
Cut that out. No.
You gotta make.
Oh,
no, you got. No. No cutting that out. You gotta make yourself look as dumb as you sounded. Come on now.
The TLwee, it works too, but it doesn't have the same ring to it. Now that I think about it.
No, it doesn't have any ring to it. That ring is rung. I'll tell you that. The King of Small Style, the last Cruiserweight champion before the purple title. Mr. McMahon's illegitimate son, the anonymous general manager of Monday Night Raw, which awful. Yeah, that's me. That's me. I have a coat of many arms, you could say.
Yeah. I like that you predate the purple.
None of
the
sleeves on the coat are very long. Get that? That's a short arm joke.
I was at SmackDown last week, which so I wasn't here on the show, and I know it takes a long time to put those purple ropes up. I was just watching like a dozen people run in the ring, and they don't like take down all the ropes. They put like a tape sleeve over all the ropes.
It's a purple duct tape sleeve. Yep.
I'm not sure what the point is. I don't know if people get excited by purple.
I'll say this. My thing is with it stands out. It's never a bad thing if standing out is never a bad thing. Whether it's good or bad, at least people notice you. And if 205, whether it be 205 Live or there's segments on Raw, the purple ropes and the different canvas and all that, they stand out. They look different than the normal product. And that's never, like I said, that's never a bad thing.
Yeah, I do like the banana in Austin Aries' pocket. The actual banana.
I don't
get it either, but I just like it.
Okay, I don't get it.
It took me a while. We're talking about Austin Aries' banana. No. We'll say that for a different show.
It's very appealing, you could say. Hey, that's two for today.
I like that one. So this has come in a few times. Will we be seeing you in any leaked videos?
Oh, fuck, I hope not. My son would be really embarrassed if he did.
Oh. Now I feel bad.
Man, you know what? I don't even know what to say about that whole situation. It's a private matter that, was between 2 or 3 or 18 people, and you just gotta be more careful, man. You gotta. I don't know. I don't think it's that. My thing is this: I don't believe in quote unquote hackers anymore. Sure, it can happen. Emails and Twitters and Facebooks and all that get hacked every day, but I don't know, hacking into a phone and leaking those videos seems a little much to me. That's just me. But I don't know.
What do you mean by that you don't believe in hackers? You mean like if it's there, it's you have to assume that it's possible to get out?
I'm just saying that, I mean, if I record something, it's going to take Bill Gates to hack into my phone to get it. I don't know. It seems very, very tough for someone random, a wrestling fan, to hack into my account, into my phone, and get videos.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It seems kind of unbelievable. But, anything can happen in the world of wrestling, as they always say.
Yeah, yeah. I think it was supposedly part of like a bigger hack from a few years ago when they got why it took so long for those particular ones to get out. I'm not sure.
That's another thing. It's like if it was from a few years ago, why did it take this long? Come on now.
Mm-hmm. Someone was just like, yeah, I'll just keep these private for 3 or 4 years and decide to put them out now.
Until I get some use out of them.
Yeah. Now, I've been even before we mentioned you're going to be on the show. I really liked your 2 videos from Kayfabe Commentaries, the timeline and the Youshoot. I think the timeline was better, but
thank you, man. The timeline was so much better. Youshoot, you know what? Youshoots are fun. They're easy, but timelines, I enjoy that. That's been my. Sean Oliver and I have. Even while in WWE, became friends because I love his product a lot. I really, really enjoy his product. He's got a lot of good things, especially with those timeline videos, man. They go through all year. It's good stuff.
You get a lot more in depth, not even just questions, but in more in depth topics for the timeline, because obviously it's condensed for 1 year as opposed to someone's whole career. And like you said, I mean, all over the place.
Yousshoots can be random questions, whether they're dumb or informative. But timelines is all information and all kind of knowledge of what went on that whole year. And I really had a good time doing that one. That was something I'm actually proud of. And I really enjoyed doing. I feel like that one told a lot of things people didn't know about myself as well as WWE in general.
Yeah, definitely. And we have Sean on quite often, and ever since he started Kayfabe Commentaries, and I would say by far they're the best of the shoot interviews that you can buy, for DVDs and stuff. In fact, I don't think there's really any comparison to any of the other products. They're a much more fun shoot interview. We have RF, who does the very informative, very top-to-bottom shoot interview. And that's good. Mm-hmm. They do a great job with those. Sean does a much more, relaxed, kind of fun interview. A little-known fact, Sean Oliver and I actually went for drinks the night before WeeLC. Really?
Yeah, New Jersey. We met up, and the biggest match of my career, him and I, and his business partner went out for drinks that night. And that was the first time we actually met. We talked till about 3 or 4 in the morning, just chatted and caught up. It was nice.
Yeah. Now, is it cool if you're in WWE and you watch those kind of videos? Does anyone say, hey, you can't be watching that kind of stuff, or is that kind of more of a thing of the past?
So in my book, I kind of wrote about it. Back when I first got hired, if you brought independent or any wrestling DVDs, you were known as a mark or a fan or whatever, a greenhorn. But now I think if you watch independent DVDs, you're kind of just trying to come up with new ideas and things for the match, and you're learning how the business is progressing. I truly feel that hanging out went from bar fights and getting crazy going out to hanging out in the hotel room and having a couple drinks with your closest friends. And mm-hmm. I feel, in my opinion, it's much safer now, and it's a safer, more friendly environment for the business and for the guys involved in it, because you're just hanging out with your buddies. I'm not going out causing a ruckus around town. I'm going back to the room. I might go to the hotel bar and have a couple drinks, but then I'm going to go back to the room and get some sleep so I can fly home in the morning.
Mm-hmm. When you first, did you see the change while you were in WWE? Because I know in JTG's book there's a lot about different rules and it seems like some of that stuff while he was there kind of went away. It was kind of he was in the tail end of a lot of it.
What do you mean? Oh, just or what?
Well, kind of all that. The different, maybe the rules are still there. Like you got to hold the, like he said, he got in trouble when he's going up an elevator, and like because he didn't let the veterans get in before him.
Oh man,
Stuff about shaking hands and
that's respect. I mean, I don't know. There's not. Let's be honest here. When the funny thing is, when I was still on the road, and I'm 2 years removed now. When I was still on the road 2 years ago, I was a veteran. Sadly, I was there 9 years, and it's just one of those things where if a guy just wants to get on the elevator, or you have a Ric Flair or a Finlay or one of these agents, just let them on, let them get on as a sign of respect. Is it going to be heat? Probably not nowadays, but it's just a sign of respect.
Yeah. A lot of ways, that kind of stuff is not only respect, but it's kind of like common courtesy and kind of common sense. Even if you're just a normal person, if you saw an older person, I say like an elderly, but you know what I mean? You would be like, hey, you
wouldn't cut in front of an old lady on an elevator or an escalator. Very simple.
No, I would, yeah. Exactly, yeah.
So it's just like that. It's common respect, common sense.
Mm-hmm. Now, I'll get this right this time. The WeeLC.
Thank you.
Which you said was one of your was it one of your proudest, or do you think that's your proudest moment in wrestling so far?
I did a lot of things. I did a lot of things in WWE that I'm very proud of. But WeeLC is easily the top thing I ever did in WWE. No one we were in New Jersey, and it's the second hardest crowd to win over behind Chicago when it comes to WWE crowds. In reality, they should have shit on us. They should have hated the match, and it's two midgets fighting with many tables and many ladders and many chairs and a mini referee and just stupidness. And they should have booed it out of the building. A minute in, we had the people on their feet. It was the biggest moment for me, especially when I got to the back, to have everyone greet us with a standing ovation. Michael Hayes, Road Dogg, Vince, everyone greet us with a standing ovation when we got to the back. And I looked at Torito and I said, man, we did it. We did it. And I knew we did. It was one of those, it's funny. You hear about Shawn and Razor coming back after WrestleMania 10 and saying, follow that. And it was the only time I ever kind of thought that, because I knew we hit a home run. And it was put on the pre-show, and it was taken as a joke, and this, that, and the other thing, and we still hit a home run. When I see Ziggler and Kofi meet me in the back, and they say, God damn, you did great. And that was awesome. It means a lot to me. And easily the best match I ever performed in WWE.
Who puts together a match like that?
So I'll say this: Road Dogg, Brian James was really pushing for Torito and I in a lot of things, and then actually Finlay, he got rehired and he came on board, and he wasn't in charge of my stuff anymore, but for that match, he actually kind of stepped in and helped out with it because he loved, he knew what I could do. So there was him and Road Dogg and actually Scott Armstrong all helping with that, and it was just we met at 10 a.m. the day of the pay-per-view at the arena, and we also, I remember all 9 of us sat in the ring, and we just kind of started throwing ideas. And I remember for some reason I got up during the whole thing, and I got up and took a lap around the ring and looked at the ladders and the chairs and the tables and the mini commentary table. And then rolled out, Finlay, and he goes, "What are you thinking?" I said, "Man, we're going to have fun tonight." And he goes, Yeah, we are. He goes, "You got an idea?" I said, I have a lot of ideas. He goes, "Okay, let's hear them." I said, "I just got to keep thinking about them, but this is going to be fun tonight." He goes, "Yeah, it will. Let's have some fun." And again, we put together the best match I ever performed in WWE.
Mm-hmm. Does El Torito speak English?
I mean, I call it Spanglish.
Right.
Like that crappy Adam Sandler movie. But no, it's it's he was trying to teach me Spanish on a few tours, but I hardly speak English well, so I'm not very good at Spanish.
So is that a hindrance at all when you guys are in the ring?
You know what? No, not at all. Because I mean, we could get through it. We got through it. If we got kind of lost a couple times, or whether it be on live events or whatnot, we could get through it.
Mm-hmm. Now, would you ever like to do another one of those?
Actually, April 22nd, in my hometown, we're doing another one.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So,
my hometown company, ACW Wisconsin. Torito and I are doing WeeLC 2 in my hometown of Oshkosh, Wisconsin. It's something, the thing is, my son, who's 7 now, watches that match probably once a month. And he always says, "Oh man, Dad, he keeps beating you." So hopefully I can get one up on him in my hometown. But it's one of those things that I'm so proud of that moment. I mean, we kind of did some stuff for Tommy Dreamer's House of Hardcore, and we killed it. I was a week out of gallbladder surgery, and I missed a frog splash onto a ladder. And I was like, as soon as I hit it, I go, "Why did I do that? That was really dumb." But we did so much fun stuff. It was Kurt Hawkins' second to last night on the Independence, and it was one of those nights where I really wanted to show what I could do. And it was special for me because it's the first time I worked Torito since we were both released, and it was fun. We had a lot of fun that night, and we killed it. And April 22nd for ACW Wisconsin, we're planning to do it again. I have a lot of things in mind that I would love to be. Now a lot of independents and a lot of companies and independent wrestlers are GIF or GIF wrestlers. They're looking for that Twitter GIF or GIF, and right. I feel like we'll have plenty of them that match. That's for sure.
I like that your son keeps watching the match, hoping that it has a different finish. But,
even at 7, I think he's now studying it because man, he kills me. I bought him for Christmas. I bought him wrestling mats for his playroom, and every day for about an hour we wrestle, and he literally taps me out every day. He'll get a hold on me and just tap me, and it's like, man, at 7 years old, you're looking me in the eye. I hate to see how tall and strong you are at 8. I can't wrestle you anymore at that point. But there's no better than that. I would never push him into the wrestling business. I would let him. I'm gonna let him do whatever he wants to do. But if he got in the business, it would be the first ever midget, second generation son in the business, and especially a little person or a midget's son that's normal sized being in the business would really stand out.
Yeah, definitely. Has he ever watched you perform live, like at ringside? You were in the crowd.
So WeeLC is the proudest moment of my WWE career. The second proudest is 2014 Actually, the last match I ever was in, maybe 2015, I'm not sure. But we were in Green Bay. WWE was in Green Bay. SmackDown was in Green Bay. And I asked Road Dogg, I texted him earlier in the day, I said, hey, my son and my dad are coming tonight. Could I please have a dark match? And he said, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Let's make it happen. I said, could I work Heath, as in Heath Slater? He goes, would he be up for it? I texted Heath. He said, absolutely. I screenshotted it, sent it to Road Dogg. Road Dogg, all right, let's make it happen. So I go to the building. I have my son with me, actually. He was out of school that day. I have my son with me, taking him around and hanging out, going to catering and getting. He would always love to get in the ring before the shows. He wanted to be in the ring and just bounce around and hit the ropes and wrestle with me in the ring for about 5 minutes before during the day. So we did that, and we were walking around, and Dolph Ziggler goes, "Hey, bud, you have dark match tonight?" I said, "I do." He goes, "Yeah." I said, "Oh, sweet." He goes, "You bringing him in the ring?" As he points to my son. And then Johnny Laurinaitis walks up, and I go, No, he's gonna sit with my dad. Ziggler goes, "You need to." I go, No, I'm not doing that. I'm not that kind of guy, because I'm never one to be the kind that, family life and career and wrestling is completely separate for me. They're completely two different things. And Ziggler goes, "Johnny, he needs to bring his kid in the ring. Make that happen." Johnny goes, okay. And I go, no, we're not doing it. And so whatever, later in the day, it's showtime. My son is sitting front row with my dad. I do the match. I end up winning in my hometown. I'm waving to one half of the crowd as I'm about to leave, and I turn around and my son is in the ring. And we meet eyes, and he walks up and he gives me a hug, and he goes, "You did great, Dad. I'm proud of you." And it was the most proud moment of my career, to have my son in the ring in my hometown in front of my family and just hugging me and telling me how proud he is of me.
Mm-hmm.
And then we roll out. I tell him to get up on the one turnbuckle. He gets up on the turnbuckle, waves to everyone, said, "All right, let's go." And for some reason, he gets up on another turnbuckle and waves to another side of the crowd, just gloating. I said, "All right, let's go." And we're walking up the ramp. He goes back by my dad. And I texted my dad. I said, "Why did he, later in the night, I texted him, why did he go by you? You wanted to watch the rest of the show. He already saw the backstage." Sweet. So I get to the back, and Ziggler is back there at Gorilla, and he's clapping, and he's nodding his head. And I go, "You didn't need to do that." He goes, "Yeah, I did. That needed to happen." And word is he talked to the producers and to security to find my son to get him in the ring that night. And it's one of those things where I'll always be indebted to Dolph for doing that, because it was the most special night of my career. And he didn't, like I said, man, he didn't need to do that. He didn't need to do that at all. But he's a best friend of mine, and he did it. And it's that moment. And then Tyson Kidd actually got a photo of one of the backstage monitors of me and Landon and I hugging in the middle of the ring, and sent it to me about 10 minutes later. And it was one of those emotional moments. And who knew? I never knew 3 months later I would be released, and that would be my last match in WWE. Mm-hmm. And in reality, there's no better way to go out than in front of your hometown and your family and friends and hugging your son in the middle of the ring. There's no better than that.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty wild. So will your son be there on the April 22nd show?
Oh, yeah. He already told me, "Dad," because we're bringing Bret Hart is actually coming to the show. We're bringing him in. He goes, "Dad, I want to see Bret Hart. I want to see Vicky Guerrero. I want to see Torito, and you need to beat him." He comes to every show. He helps me sell my merchandise, because he says, "Dad, every shirt I help you with, I get $1." And so now if I sell a shirt myself, he gets angry because he doesn't get the money for that one then in his mind. So, Yeah, no, he loves it. But like I said, he's grown up in this business. He's grown up a part of this business his whole life. That's all he knows.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But so he knows Bret Hart. Does he does he watch older? I assume he watches older wrestling too.
Yeah, the funny thing is, I turned on WrestleMania 13 with Bret and Austin, their bloodbath match.
Yeah.
Match. And he goes, "Dad, that's a lot of blood." Whoa! Oh wow! And I said, "Yeah, that's how they used to bleed a lot, buddy." Oh, that's a lot. Do you ever bleed like that? I said, No, I haven't. So it's. I'm trying to get him more and more. I mean, he knows Ultimate Warrior because that was my hero growing up. He knows the main guys of back in the day when I was a fan. I'm trying to educate him more, but he loves it in general. He loves anything from John Cena to Hulk Hogan. He loves it. He loves wrestling. I can put anything on. He'll be in his room hanging out. If I put on something on the network, he'll run in the living room and watch it with me because he loves wrestling.
When he watches it, does he know what wrestling is, or does he think like you're really getting hurt in the ring, or what's his take on that?
So the WeeLC match, I actually called him right away, and I said, "Hey, buddy, I'm all right." And he goes, "You're okay, Dad?" I said, "Yeah, I'm good, buddy." Okay, I just wanted to make sure. He knows. I would always call him after matches, before matches, and I still do. Actually, to this day, even on the independents, I call him right before a match. Say, "All right, buddy, I'm going to the ring. I love you." And I do the match, and I call him right after. And if he's sleeping, I'd leave a message for him for the next day, just to let him know I'm okay. And I feel it's really important that as a parent, you let your child know that you're on the road and you're playing a part, that you're not really hurt, that you're okay, because you don't want him fearing that you're really hurt. Because if he thinks you're really hurt, he's not going to want you to go on the road, and he's going to hate you leaving even more. And you don't want that with your child. You don't want your child's already going to miss you enough, and if he hates you going on the road because he thinks you're going to get hurt, he's gonna not like it even more.
Yeah. Sorry. It's just. Okay. So April 22nd, you said Bret Hitman's gonna be the Hitman's gonna be there,
Bret
and
Hitman Hart,
Bret
Hitman Hart, Vicky Guerrero, Mr. Kennedy, Carlito, Torito, Swoggle. We're doing it pretty big in Little Old Oshkosh. It's my hometown. Bret Hart hasn't been here since 1992. My company that I've run now for coming up on 4 years, ACW Wisconsin. We're doing big things in Wisconsin. This will be the biggest independent non-WWE show to ever hit Wisconsin. It's going to be fun. Tomorrow, I leave. This is 9:30 Central. I leave at 5 a.m. for Orlando, and it's my first WrestleMania week without being a part of WWE. But I'm excited. I have a lot of stuff this week. I couldn't be more happy and more excited for it.
Mm-hmm. Now, you in your one of the videos, you mentioned that you were trained by Ken Anderson.
Yeah.
I know he has a school now, but how did that work out? Because I didn't know he started training anyone until recently.
Yeah, we were a lot. When I was trained, it was just before the local shows. We would show up a couple hours early, and we would train then, and take our bumps and get trained. There was a couple other local guys that trained me, but he really put a lot of time and effort into us. And I also say he trained me, and he was a main part of my career because he actually got me my job. He went to bat for me to Fit and to Laurinaitis and to Tommy Dreamer, and put the word out for me and put his name out there for me to get me hired by WWE.
Nope.
So I owe a lot to him.
Was Fit? Were they looking for the Hornswoggle role at the time?
They were looking for. Yep. Pardon me. They were looking for a midget to be Fit's Leprechaun, and they tried, I think, 5 out, and then they tried me out, and I failed horribly because I couldn't do an Irish accent to save my life, and that's why I think they didn't have me talk for years. Because I couldn't get an Irish accent down at all. But I remember after my tryout, we were in pre-tapes. I said to Fit, I said, "How did I do?" And Fit goes, "We'll talk to you soon, maybe. You'll hear from us." Which wasn't a good thing to hear, at 19 years of age. I thought it was over for sure, and then a week and a half later, I get a call from Dreamer saying that they want to offer me a contract.
Mm-hmm. When did you first meet Fit?
I met Fit when I was an extra in March of 2006. March 2006, I did extra work in a backstage pre-tape with Snitsky and Goldust in Green Bay.
Mm-hmm.
Or no, in Milwaukee. And then I asked, because I heard they were trying out midgets for Fit's Leprechaun. So I asked if I could come to Green Bay. And he said, yeah. And we met right then.
Mm-hmm. I was before the show. I was out. I went out to eat with my brother, and I asked if there was anything he wanted to ask you. And he actually, he wanted me to ask you, was Fit as rough with you as it looked on TV? He said he remembers throwing you around, 100%. Did you?
Oh man, he beat the hell out of me sometimes. I remember we would always do what I would call the Titanic pose when we were baby faces. This is when we were baby faces. We would get up on the buckle. We would get up on the buckle, and I would go on the middle buckle, and he would go on the bottom buckle, and we would do the King of the World pose, like in Titanic.
Mm-hmm.
And he would have the shillelagh in his right hand, and every time he would extend, we would both extend our hands and wave to the crowd. And as he would always get down early or first, and as he was getting down, as he's pulling his hands in, he would bop me on the top of the head with the shillelagh. And it was like the old Looney Tune cartoons. I'd have about eight big lumps on my head by the end of a tour. And finally, at one point, I finally learned I would extend my hands and then try to grab his hand behind me, but he would switch the shillelagh hand and just bop me anyways, like whack-a-mole. He got me, and he had that laugh. He had that laugh to him. And it was just, we had so much fun. Mm-hmm. It was, I owe a lot. I owe my career to Ken Anderson and Finlay. Mm-hmm. I owe everything to them.
Yeah, this might be a weird question, but what was the shillelagh made of? Because it always looked like it was like a stiff shot, and it didn't look like wood. It was. Yeah,
it's hard wood. It's this soaked wood. It's essentially like the head of a tree branch. It's so incredibly hard.
Did he ever hurt anybody with it? Because I know he's a pro, but all his shots with that really looked perfect.
He was so good with it. He could control that so well. I remember he might have he might have given Boogie Man a couple snug shots with it. Allegedly, he allegedly might have give Boogie Man a couple stiff ones.
Right.
But he could control it so well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Were those intentional or accidental? Allegedly, the stiff shots.
Oh, I mean, it was accidental. It was
all
accidental,
right.
Of course.
What are your thoughts on the Boogie Man?
I loved him, man. I'll tell you this. I loved the character. I absolutely loved the character. It was the kids loved it. The fans loved it. He always got a huge reaction. Mm-hmm. And it gave me an opportunity under the ring to whip worms from under the ring at Tony Chimmel announcing at the time.
That's always a plus.
Yeah, it was. I loved it though.
Yeah, I always thought they should have sold bags of gummy worms.
I always thought that too, and they always said we can't do food, and they didn't do any food or any, edibles for the longest time until the Booty-O's cereal, because they didn't want to store perishables in the warehouse.
Yeah. So I thought even when you're there, kids would eat them by the handful like you did in the ring, and then they'd have to buy more, and you know what I mean?
Yeah, they would have sold out every night of the gummy worms.
Yeah. Did you ever try the Booty-O cereal?
I did. I went to Chicago after I was released. I went to Chicago for an independent show when the Booty-O cereal was out, and I stopped at a shop, and there was Booty-O's there, and I was like, man, Landon has been asking, my son has been asking for this for weeks. If I bought it and then surprised him with it, if he had a good week at school or something, surprised him with it, he would go crazy. So I bought it, and I texted my dad. I go, "This is Landon's surprise for a good week." He goes, "What the hell is that?" Because he doesn't watch it. He doesn't watch it weekly anymore. So I explained it to him, and then the next week I gave it to Landon. He goes, "I got Booty-O's? I can wear my shirt to school? I can eat these for breakfast?" I said, "You are not wearing your Booty-O's shirt to school, Landon." And he didn't really understand why he couldn't wear it, because it's, make sure you ain't booty. And I couldn't tell him, "Hey, Landon, that's about eating butts on your shirt right there." I couldn't tell him that. I just said, "Hey, that's not appropriate because it says booty." That's the only reason I could come up with. But he, that's his Uncle Kofi. Kofi is always, him and Hawkins have been my two best friends in the business. Kofi and I, we call ourselves Team Dad, and because we were all, I had my son, and then he had his first son a few months after. And we always just, our kids know each other and talk about each other, and they only know each other through FaceTime, which is crazy to me because they've met and they've hung out and talked to each other since they were, 1 and 2 years old through FaceTime. And his son talks about my son and vice versa because they only met on FaceTime, and that's where technology and the world is going nowadays, where they're best friends through the internet, essentially. They've never met in public. They've never met in person, but yet they know each other. So it's awesome to see, and my son loves anything that Kofi does because that's his Uncle Kofi, and he's been around him his whole life. Kofi's a good guy, and those New Day guys, man, I'm proud of them. Yeah.
It was, my friend Annabelle, she used to watch wrestling back with Macho Man and stuff, and she hasn't watched it for years. And I was like, "You got to watch these New Day things." And she's like, "I don't." But I got her to watch on my phone, and then that's one thing that she loves, and she even has a Booty-O shirt now. So they've transcended even the wrestling fans.
It's one of those shirts that you see all over.
Yeah, I wear the Booty-O shirt a lot, and I'll wear, and usually if I wear stuff, people don't say anything, but it'd be at a restaurant, and they're like, "Oh, the boot." They actually, they admit to knowing, what the shirt's about.
Yep.
It was last year. I was really sick, and I was in the hospital in rehab for 3 months. And the one time when I was in rehab, and I was watching Raw, and they were on New Day, and my nurse came in who happened to be African American, and I was thinking, oh no, she's gonna watch this and think this stupid white guy, this is what he thinks all black people are like, and but it was totally fine. That just went through my head when I was watching the wrestling. What did the Booty-O's taste like?
Exactly like Lucky Charms, like Aldi's brand Lucky Charms.
Which is fitting since it's the Leprechaun.
Exactly.
You should be mad that you didn't get your own cereal.
I got way more merchandise than I could have ever dreamed. It's I could never thought I would have merchandise in WWE at all, and I got some, which is a dream in itself.
Yeah. I would keep some of that. Did you keep like each of the different merchandise, like the figures and stuff?
I have totes in my garage on shelves. I think 27 totes of my own merchandise, whether it be figures or hats or shirts or whatever. Just hanging out, and someday start to get rid of it.
Yeah, that's why they kept making it, because you were buying it all.
Probably, I was the only one buying it.
Oh, no, of course. Let's see here. Rupert Pumpkin here in the chat room, he wants to know if the show Swerved was legit.
Yeah, it was like Punked, man. That was fun. That first episode that I was on where they got me with the nachos, it's actually in Green Bay. Woods got me, man. They got me good. I was so pissed because it ruined my shoes. It got nacho cheese inside of my shoes, and it ruined my shoes. But the guys, actually the Jackass crew that produced Swerved sent me brand new shoes, which is pretty awesome of them.
Besides, like on Swerved, were there many ribs played on you, or you play ribs on anybody else?
I was always, everyone called me the locker room bully because I wouldn't sell ribs very much. In the first couple of years I did, but I wouldn't sell ribs all that much, and but I would always mess with other people.
Mm-hmm. Any memorable ones?
No, it was just giving people hell. Nothing crazy.
Mm-hmm. Let's see here. Dean Knowles from Australia. He says, this dude's Muppet collection, meaning you, is even bigger than mine. It fills me with jealous rage. He's even met them. My question is, if something bad were to happen to him, can I have his framed Muppet posters?
No.
I'm sorry, Dean.
No, you can't. That's those will get buried with me. Sorry, buddy.
Now, you mentioned that you had like a bunch of Muppet tattoos. Which was the first one?
Animal, which is on the completely other leg. I got him, and then I got Kermit on my main Muppet leg, and it was one of those on a whim kind of things, and then it got crazy and got out of hand, where now I have 22 Muppets on my left leg. Only the collection is only growing.
Who's left? Who's left that you need?
Oh, man, there's hundreds of Muppets, but I have a list.
You're the Swedish Chef.
Yep, got him. I got 90% of the main ones right now. It's just now it's getting the ones that not a lot of people know about that I really enjoy. It's and a lot of filler with random little Muppets too. So it's coming together slowly but surely.
Let's see here. The Jersey Devil wants to know: have you ever been contacted to star in Basket Case 3 as Belial's Tito Vodka Breathed Killer Wide-Assed Offspring?
I have no idea what that means.
Well, that was sent in by... I'll break kayfabe here. That was sent in by Sean Oliver. I assumed it was some type of in-joke, but apparently it doesn't make any sense.
Oh, the old Tito's Vodka. I don't know what anything else... I mean, Tito's Vodka stood out. I like myself some vodka, that's for sure.
Basket Case is an old 80s horror film. It's very obscure.
Yeah, he was probably like 40 when that movie came out.
Let's see. Mike Bartley wants to know. I want to know as much as he can tell about the Leprechaun origins. I thought it was pretty damn good. How did he get the part? What did you think of the makeup process? What was the most difficult part of filming it?
How did I get the part? Well, if there's going to be someone that plays a leprechaun in a movie, I would think there would be the leprechaun that plays the leprechaun on WWE. But the hardest and worst part was kind of the makeup process. Just because it had to get so so close to the eyes, and just that was easily the hardest part. And the part that was most upsetting is they didn't get any close-up shots of the makeup and of what we did.
Mm-hmm.
And that ticked me off because the director and I were very proud of the work we did on that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't see any payoff in the end.
Yeah, I thought that was weird myself because I watched a movie for my horror show, and you barely see the leprechaun in the movie. It's almost like it didn't have to really be anyone as the leprechaun.
That it didn't have to be me at all. It could have been just anybody.
Yeah.
But you know what? I'm glad I did it. It was enjoyable. I got to work with Zach Hofsky, who is producing TV shows and other movies, and it was fun. It was a lot of fun to do.
Mm-hmm. Several people mentioned, just one mentioned them, AJ Punk, Jack Saint, and Jack Saint want to know, is there any chance of a sequel, and would you want to be in it?
It's a movie, of course I would want to be in it. Do I think there's going to be a sequel? Probably not. But you never know. In this crazy world, you never know what's going to come out.
Mm-hmm. Corey Miller wants to know, why did you call out Taz?
I didn't call out Taz. I said he was a dick. I said Colt Cabana was a dick. I said Ryback was a dick. I said all these guys were dicks, and it's like only the ones that I say that made that video on YouTube, and it's like, man, it's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous to me.
Uh-huh.
I didn't call him out. I didn't call him out one bit, and I don't know. It was crazy to me how much of an uproar that got.
Uh-huh. What made Colt Cabana a dick to you personally?
Something stupid. When I was 3 weeks in the business, he moved my merchandise off of a merch table.
Oh, really? That's pretty shitty, though.
No. It was so dumb for me to think it was a dick move.
Uh-huh.
Because I was like I said, I was 3 weeks in the business, and I was upset about something stupid like that. But yeah. Yeah.
My co-host he's got technical problems. He's not here, but he's not a fan of Colt Cabana because we had him on the show a few times when we first started. And the one show, like, anytime we asked anything, it was like, what's it like working with so-and-so? And he's like, working? What do you mean? Like McDonald's? And, like, the first time it's kind of funny, but after, like, 5 or 6 times, it's like, yeah, you know what we're talking about. I mean.
See, I love Cabana now. He's great. Him and I last weekend traveled the whole weekend together.
Mm-hmm.
We had a good time.
Are you going to be on any of his the Road Diaries?
You never know. You never know if he's doing another one. You never know if I'll be on the next one. I would love to be, because I love those DVDs.
Yeah, they're a lot of fun. Let's see here. Someone to know about Heath Slater and the 3-man band. Did you enjoy working with the 3-man band?
Shit. Sorry, hold on.
That's fine. You can see me. Well,
I did, because again it reinvented my career, reinvented me. It led to the match that made my career, made my WWE run.
Mm-hmm. I enjoyed the 3-man band. I always think Heath, like, he's entertaining, like, whatever role he's given. He's a guy that can, like, take anything and make it fun.
Heath is so crazy entertaining. It's nuts to me. He whatever he's given, he knocks out of the park. Yeah,
exactly. I loved his recent stuff with Rhino. I thought was great. 3-man band, that was great. Did Chavo have any problems putting you over a bunch of times?
Who?
Chavo Guerrero.
Oh, Chavo. No, he was always good to do, to do business and all that. It's just, we had fun. We were on Raw every week together for months.
Mm-hmm. See, you talked about Khali a lot on the videos, and there was another one where Tommy Dreamer says that he shit himself after taking the Khali Slam, and was that a move that people did not like to take?
I mean, you got to think about it. It's you're getting dropped on your back,
Uh-huh.
7 feet in the air. It ain't
Mm-hmm.
It ain't a fun bump to take. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm. Did you? What's the worst bump you ever took when you were in WWE?
Oh man, getting shot by the T-shirt gun. I forgot. I think it was Miz. I think it was Miz. Miz or R-Truth shot me with the T-shirt gun, and it left a welt right under my stomach, like on my upper thigh, for a good 3 weeks. It hurt. It was easily the thing that hurt the most in my WWE career.
That sucks. Let's see. We got a bunch of questions from Facebook. I finally got them to load up here. Yep. Bruce Briscoe wants to know: does Ribeiro Steakhouse in Japan actually suck, or is that a myth?
Never been to Japan. It's still the number one place I need to go to.
Yeah, I would love to have a Ribeiro Steakhouse jacket. Jamie K wants to know: is Vince McMahon a good dad?
Vince McMahon is a great boss. I don't have much to say about him negatively. That's for sure.
Yeah. What about biting his ass on TV?
That was fun, man. It was, again, when I worked with him, I was in the main event or a main segment on Raw every week.
Mm-hmm. Now, I know you grew up a wrestling fan, and, when you're in wrestling, you don't want to be a mark or whatever people say, but, being in the ring with Vince McMahon and Hulk Hogan, what is that like? That's got to be a big deal.
Oh, it's a complete dream come true. Like, I did a pose down with Hulk Hogan. How many people can say that they did that?
Yeah.
I main evented in a steel cage against Vince McMahon. How many people can say that? It's crazy.
I know you said Warrior was your favorite. Did you have any interaction with him when he went to the Hall of Fame? So
I asked to be at his Hall of Fame, and originally I was supposed to do Access, and I was really, really pissed off that year because they had me at Access, and then last minute they had Torito and I do a random run-in during the Hall of Fame for some crazy reason, but that meant that I would at least be at Hall of Fame for Warrior's induction. And so then as soon as he was inducted, I ran to the back so I could meet him and tell him. I remember, it's crazy, I remember him walking from the stage to the back and me waiting for him and introducing myself and saying, hey, you're the reason I got into this business. You're who I looked up to. I never had any heroes in life, whether it be Superman or Batman, or I didn't care about them. I cared about you. You were the reason that I got into this. And he called his wife over, Dana, and he told her that, what I said to him. And he asked me, he goes, hey, can we take a picture together? And I said, oh, I was just going to ask you. He goes, yeah, let's take a photo together. And we took a photo together, and the next day he passed away, which is crazy. I never got to meet him in my life. And then the day before he passed away, I got to meet him and get my photo with him. And then the painter, Rob Schamberger, the WWE artist, unbeknownst to me, it's really crazy, unbeknownst to me, a few weeks after he passed away, I get home, and there is a package at my door. And I open it, and it's a framed picture painted of me and Warrior and I.
Oh, that's wild.
Did. Yeah, it's one of those things, like, I had no idea of it. I had no idea that he did it, and I texted him. I said, "You didn't have to do this." He goes, "No, I know I didn't, but I knew it would mean a lot to you."
Mm-hmm.
And it was really, really cool for him to do.
Mm-hmm. Now, like, you'd have no, like, actual insight on this. It would just be, like, guesswork. But do you think the Warrior had any idea that he was sick or something was going to happen? Because it's really obviously he's a young guy and it's terribly died, but it's still a nice story that he got to go in the Hall of Fame and give the amazing speech before he passed away.
Well, it's not really a nice story because he passed away.
Well, no, that's why I prefaced it with, obviously it's terrible. He's a young man and he had his family and everything, but if he would have passed away without ever going back,
that would have been awesome.
At least there was closure with meeting Vince again and the fans.
I don't think there was any reasoning or any note behind it. I just definitely, think everything happens for a reason for the most part.
Mm-hmm. You said that you collect Jack's figures.
I collect all figures, which is crazy to me.
All wrestling figures or just all figures?
All wrestling figures.
What are some of your favorite? I actually have a bunch of wrestling figures on my wall here, but I've got the polka dot Dusty Rhodes. But who's your favorite? What's your favorite wrestling figure?
So like the masked Undertaker with that.
Oh yeah.
I always loved when they put that out because it's such kind of like a random, obscure Undertaker figure for them to release. I always liked that. Any Warrior figure I love for the gear and to see how detailed they get. My Elite figure, my 2-pack with Torito is probably my favorite figure ever because they actually included the tattoos on my back, which are my son's handprints.
Oh, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
When they do that, like, how do they get the detail for do they, like, scan the tattoos? Or is it just an artist, like, taking a picture and recreating them?
No, yeah, they take a photo of it and then they put it on the figure.
Mm-hmm. Vic Schiavone wants to know, it seems they pulled the plug prematurely on the Finlay JBL feud. Why was that?
I don't think they pulled the plug at all. It was supposed to go to Mania and finish them.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned a couple times about they never wanted to put the title on Finlay. Was there ever anyone who, like, pushed for that at all?
I have no idea.
Was there ever any talks, like, they about putting Finn in I always thought he was great.
Oh, he's one of the smartest and most talented guys in wrestling.
Mm-hmm. You also said that a lot of people consider Michael Hayes the smartest man in wrestling. What are your thoughts on Michael Hayes, and why would that be a common belief?
I mean, he's a big finish guy. Vince goes to him for a lot of finishes nowadays. So he's always a go-to guy.
Mm-hmm. Let's see here. Did you have any much interaction with Michael Hayes?
No, not a lot. No.
Stephen Butler wants to know, when did you find out that you were the anonymous GM sending messages to Michael Cole?
So that was a Monday. I found out that Saturday at 10 p.m.
So, what were your thoughts on that angle?
Where it could have went and where it did go were two completely different things. It seemed for a while, whenever they didn't know or they didn't have an end game for an angle, it always fell on Hornswoggle. but I was fine with it because it got me on TV. Yep. Hello?
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yep, I hear you now.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's have a bad connection here for a second. How did you end up on Impact?
They called me and asked if I'd be interested in coming in for 2 tapings, and I said sure, I'll do it. It is what it is.
What do you think? Sorry, I was just wondering what your thoughts on the Broken Hardy angle. Characters.
It was entertaining, man. It definitely made relevance to a lot of the things they did. It was great.
Yeah. Do you think we'll see them back in the WWE?
You never know. You truly never know. I would hope so, and it's. I think it would be fun to see him there.
Yeah. And are you looking forward to Mania this weekend?
I am. Mania time of the year is the best time of the year as a wrestling fan, and I'm a wrestling fan. I've always been and always will be a wrestling fan. So it should be fun. I'm looking forward to this week, to being in Orlando. Between all the shows that I'm on, which you can follow me on Twitter at WWE Hornswoggle. See what shows I'm on during the week. I'm posting daily about the shows I'm on that night, the signings at WrestleCon, and the appearances. It's going to be a fun week. I'm excited.
Cool. And before you got into wrestling as a wrestler, did you ever go to any of the WrestleManias?
No, never did. No, never did.
What was your favorite WrestleMania before you were an active wrestler?
WrestleMania 6, Hogan and Warrior, because I was such a youth Warrior guy.
Yeah. That's that one, and probably the Macho Man is Warrior's best matches too.
All I hear, you hear a lot about Macho and Warrior, and then you hear about Rick Rude and Warrior at times.
Mm-hmm.
It's to me, I think the outstanding moment of Warrior's career, obviously, is Hogan and Warrior when he wins the title.
Mm-hmm. It's a really well put together match, even like the end where
it is.
Yeah. I remember when I was playing with my wrestling figures at the time, it would be a finish that I would use a lot, when I was playing with my, But yeah, that was awesome. All right. What was your first WrestleMania you were on?
WrestleMania 23. I actually took the Lambeau Leap from Mr. Kennedy off the top of the ladder.
Mm-hmm. So what was the experience like being WrestleMania for the first time?
It was awesome, and only it was even crazier because I took that move from the guy who got me into the business and who got me my job.
Yeah. Have you been to his training school, Ken Anderson?
I haven't yet. I haven't yet, but I hope to go very soon to check it out. The facility is amazing, so I would hope to check it out soon. Yeah.
And one last question here in the chat room. Shaheen wants to know, how did you end up working for Zandig at GCW's Tournament of Survival Deathmatch Tournament?
It was one of those things. I've always been a deathmatch guy. I always liked watching the CZW and the deathmatch stuff, so it was one of those things I wanted to be a part of, and just happened to all come together and be a fun time.
Yeah. Now, you said that you hated ECW, but you like Combat Zone Wrestling.
I didn't hate ECW. I just never followed it.
I see. Well, there's a difference. Did were you in in the death matches? Because I haven't seen the tournament.
No, I wasn't. Oh.
Mm-hmm. Is that something you'd ever want to do?
I want to do one in my life. That's all I need to do.
Mm-hmm. Who would it be with?
No idea yet.
All right, fair enough. If it could be anyone anyone from wrestling history, who would it be?
Hawkins.
Hawkins, all right. The Dream Opponent. That's very cool.
Myself and Hawkins.
Why is that? So you can carve up Hawkins, or?
No, just because we're best friends, we would have fun.
Yeah. So ACW Wisconsin, April 22nd, the WeeLC 2. How can people find out
People can
ticket information and stuff?
Find out more details at acwwisconsin.com, ACW Wisconsin on Facebook and Twitter. Yeah, just follow us on there and check it out. We're going to be doing huge things in Wisconsin and all over the Midwest very soon.
Very cool. Want to thank you for coming on.
All right, man. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
This is James Ellsworth, and you're listening to In Your Head Wrestling.